I'm excited to have you here. We got Vanessa Lynn Bird joining us. We've accomplished our allergy talk and allergen talk. How's everything been going?
Oh, it's been good. I've been busy. I'm sure you hear that from every musician. But yeah, I've just had a lot going on, releasing a lot of music. I just got to open for Tracy Bird a couple weeks ago.
Nice.
So I've just kind of been on this roller coaster and kind of on the high of the roller coaster right now. So it's been great.
Nice. So staying bit. I always tell people staying busy is good. I'd be concerned if you weren't busy.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, so you're currently based out of Nashville, but you're originally from San Antonio. How long have you been in Nashville?
Yeah, so I moved here 3.5 years ago, and it was a dream of mine for a while. Living in San Antonio, doing music and everything. I had come out here to record one time, and I was just obsessed. Actually, I came here before that to do like an audition thing. But yeah, I fell in love with Nashville. I fell in love with the fact that everybody here is a creative. So it just kind of became a goal, and I kept like every year I would be like, I'm gonna move to Nashville, like it's gonna happen. And one year, my best friend said, like I just started writing down my goals and manifesting them.
Mhm.
And I did that. And that was the year I ended up moving here.
Nice. And was Austin ever on your radar, or was that because it was so close to home? It was just kind of like, yeah.
It was a little too close to home. And also, I worked there. And so I just didn't feel like it was enough of a change for me. So
Hmm. Fair.
chill
Fair enough.
for me.
I will say though, that part of Texas, like right in between San Antonio and Austin on the Guadalupe,
Mhm.
um, I found out that that's how San Antonians say it because I've been pronouncing it Guadalupe. Um, but right there on the river, some of that is the most beautiful places I've ever been in my life. So,
Yeah, it's gorgeous. The hill country and all of that. And you mentioned the rivers. I grew up floating the rivers, the Canal and New Braunfels and all that. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's so hot.
mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I'm actually going down to New Braunfels on Thursday, so I'll be there for an extended weekend. I'm excited.
Love New Braunfels.
Yep. So, growing up in San Antonio, where does music kind of come in? Is that something that your dad or your family had kind of introduced you to, or yeah?
So not really my family, although there are a lot of musicians in my family, but kind of there are opera singers in my family,
Mm,
strangely enough. You wouldn't expect pop country related to opera. But no, I always loved singing from a young age. And of course I grew up in Texas where there's tons of live music. And so I kind of just started playing around town, and honestly, I didn't even know I was going to do country. I just wanted to sing. So I was singing a mixture of, pop, alternative, country, different things around San Antonio. And then I kind of fell in love with just the honky tonks, the line dancing, two stepping, that kind of whole scene. And
hmm.
I really wanted to be part of that. So I really leaned into the country and started doing that.
Nice, nice, nice. And then you mentioned that you moved to Nashville about 3.5 years ago. Would it have been sooner had the pandemic not hit, or was 3.5 years ago about the right time?
The pandemic actually helped me move here
Mm,
because I was going into Austin for work, so I was very much in the office. But then they sent us all home and said, "You're working for remote, for as long as we can predict." And I, basically asked my boss, "Hey, is this an okay time for me to move since we're all remote anyway?" And he told me go for it. So the pandemic is actually what made this happen for me. So
mm,
I'm very grateful that there was a silver lining to the pandemic.
nice. And are you still working for that company, or have you kind of gone full time with music?
Yeah, I'm still working for them. I think
Nice.
every musician still has a day job until they like officially break out.
Right. That's fair. You've been in Nashville now 3.5 years. How's Nashville been treating you?
Oh, I love it so much. Nashville has really helped me grow a lot because there are so many creatives here, like I was saying earlier, and so there's a lot of opportunities for co-writing. So I've done a ton of co-writing. I did a lot through NSAI at first when I,
Mhm.
I first started here, which y'all have NSAI in Texas as well. I'm actually part of the College Station chapter, but I've never been to a meeting there.
Oh, well.
all the emails. But yeah, so I did a lot through NSAI, and then I just started writing with everybody I would meet at rounds or at NSAI, or just people I would meet, out and about. So Nashville really helped me grow because writing with people day in day out, 5 times a week really helps you hone in your skills and get sharper. So I think that's kind of been the biggest area of growth for me is writing because I was performing a lot in
Mm,
Texas. I'm performing about the same amount here, just a lot more writers rounds. But really the networking, meeting other creatives and them kind of stepping up my game with the co-writing has helped me grow a lot being in Nashville.
nice. And I have a feeling that you're doing a lot less traveling in Nashville than you were in Texas.
Yeah, well, because Texas is huge, right? And so
Yep.
you go and you play all over the place there, so you're always driving around. But yeah, in Nashville, I don't feel like I travel as much. Occasionally, I'll go back to Texas to play a show. Like I played Oyster Bake back in April.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
but yeah, definitely less traveling. Also because I record here. So
Hmm.
before I was traveling from Texas here to record, and now I can just pop over to the studio anytime.
Nice. That's cool. That's one thing I love about Texas is every weekend there's always some kind of festival somewhere going on.
Yes, yes. There
It,
was a turkey fest. That was just happening over this weekend, and my friends were there texting me because Tracy Bird was playing, and they were like, "Where
Mhm.
are you?" So they're sending me selfies.
Nice.
There's always something
Uh,
going on.
yeah, it's like right now. So I live in Wake. I'm based out of Waco,
Mhm.
and right now we were in the last weekend of the Heart of Texas Fair and Rodeo, which is our big fair here. It's also Celebration, which
Ah,
fixer uppers like big,
Magnolia, all
yeah,
that.
Magnolia, big fall festival. And then
Mhm.
I also think it's like Baylor's homecoming weekend. So I
Oh,
went out to the grocery store this morning and it took me like 15 minutes just to get out of my apartment. And I'm like, um, yeah, I'm not doing this. I'm
that's
not doing it. So,
and ACL just happened
yep.
last weekend and this weekend. So yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot happening.
Yeah, everybody's driving through and it's crazy, crazy. Oh, so you obviously, or we talked earlier that you've been super busy, which is great. I'd be, like I said, I'd be concerned if you weren't busy. You got dropped two new songs within the last 90 days or last month and a half.
Yeah, exactly.
I was sitting here, I was trying to do math. I don't know why, but um, you got two new songs out, which is incredible. What's let's start with the most recent one that you dropped on October 4th, about a week ago. What's running through your mind right now? Obviously, you're in like post release, but it's like a whole different push.
Yeah, so that song, I wrote it last summer. One
Hmm.
hot July day, I was thinking about fall because I love fall. I love cold weather. And so I wanted to write a song kind of to celebrate my love for fall. But I kind of wrote it like a love story about two people falling in love, kind of crossing from the friend zone into the lover zone. And it's kind of comparing them falling in love to being a leaf falling in the fall. And I really love that song. I wrote it by myself on a guitar. I'm not great at guitar, but I know enough to write songs on.
Hmm.
So I really wanted to release it in the fall, but it took a year to just kind of make everything happen, to get in the studio, to get the right vocals and everything I wanted to make it just right. So I'm really excited I got to release this one, and now everybody gets to hear it and kind of enjoy my love for fall.
Nice. So the name of the song is Falling.
Yes, it's fall.
For anybody that wants to go out and check it, we'll make sure in the description below we have the Spotify link and all that fun stuff. Um, where are you kind of at right now as far as thoughts of releasing like an album? Are you just
Mhm.
kind of staying singles? Are you building to an album? Where are you kind of at in that ballpark?
Right now, I'm just releasing singles, but you're gonna start noticing that other than the one we'll talk about in a little bit, they're all
Hmm.
kind of having the same vibe, this dreamy country type of vibe. It's because they're all kind of part of the same project. So, like, if
Mm.
I ever were to release an album, it would be these songs like "Falling" and "Better Run," and I have a couple more kind of already part of that same vibe. But it just I'm just dropping them one at a time. And maybe at some point I'll package them up, and I
Hmm.
really want to do like a vinyl record.
Nice.
So I'm kind of hoping that I can do that maybe at some point next year, but I haven't solidified that plan yet.
Nice. That's always kind of a really underrated strategy. I've seen a few musicians do that where like officially on
Mhm.
Spotify and all that stuff, they release everything as singles, but then when you go to a show,
Mhm.
they have it all packaged up as like a as an album. And I've always thought that was a really underrated strategy.
Yeah, I definitely want to do something like that because, like I said, they're all related. They're all the same
Hmm.
vibe. They're all the same kind of mindset and time frame that I wrote these songs during. So they really do belong together. So yeah, hopefully I can kind of make them one album at some point soon.
Nice. So
Mhm.
when you were kind of in this writing phase,
Mhm.
were you listening to anybody specifically, or were you just kind of in a certain mood and it was like, this is where we're going?
I guess so. I definitely listen to specific people that, to inspire myself because there are specific people that I really look up to kind of their style of writing or their style of artistry, how they present
Hmm.
themselves, that kind of thing. So definitely Shania Twain. I love listening to Jody Messina, Kelsey Ballerini, Taylor Swift, like everybody, Mackenzie Porter. I love all those artists. But I think the mindset is just like I've become very like introspective about kind of what's going on in my head, my heart,
Hmm.
my feelings. Um, and so that's kind of where I'm writing from versus trying to write about what I think other people might like, what I think other people might relate to. I try to write what I experience in a way where it can be relatable, but it doesn't, I'm not trying for somebody else's experience basically.
Hmm.
Like there's one I really love that I wrote a couple months ago called My Horses, and
Hmm.
it's about just not being able to control my emotions, being super passionate, but maybe there's like a good side to this. And so like my emotions are my horses. I can't hold them. So that's very much just about me and who I am as
Hmm.
a person. But I've had a lot of people tell me, "Oh my gosh, like this is me. This is my daughter." People have come
Right.
up to me, "Where is this song? How can I listen to it?" And I'm like, it's not out yet.
Right. Fair. It's you're hitting on the right tracks though, because I, it was a podcast I did yesterday or Thursday. We were
Mhm,
having a very similar conversation to this, and it's like when you're making music for yourself
mhm.
and people are coming to listen to it, that means they're invested in you as the musician. Whereas if you're just trying to make music that you think other people want to hear, you're just another cog in the wheel. And the second you make something they don't want to listen to, they're moving on.
Yeah, and then you just have no identity of what you're doing with your
Hmm.
music. It's all just, I'm going to try this, I'm going to try that, versus like, this is me.
Yeah.
And like, if you're writing from this is me, then I feel like you can take people through your journey, your growth as a person, versus if you're trying everything, then it's just so disconnected that people are like, what is she about?"
Right. Right. It's an honest approach, and like that authenticity people can pick up on. Like when you're writing from a real place or an authentic place, like people can connect. So
Yeah. I think
good
we
on.
all kind of go through that stage though of like, I want to sound like this person.
Hmm.
And that's just part of you like finding what your sound is and finding what your voice is. So
Hmm.
not to, like if somebody's at that point, that's great. That's part of their discovery.
Hmm.
But like I really love that I've gotten, I've kind of moved on to this part of my journey.
Yeah, absolutely. And not to say that you can't take your sound or what you like to write about and make it sound bigger, because, I have this conversation all the time about, musicians, they want to do like big arena shows and, like they have aspirations of grandeur, which is great. Like that's why everyone's here. Um, but at the end of the day, there's a certain sound that works best in those. And you could still be authentic to who you are as a musician, but you just got to find where you can make your sound bigger.
Yes, you're exactly right. Like so this is very musician-y,
Yeah.
but I was writing a lot of songs where I would have, actually, this is not that musician-y because I won't explain it technically correctly, but I would have these like half bars or half measures,
Mhm.
and it would be like a 4 count and then a 2 count. And my guitar player was like, why do you keep doing this? Because he does my demos. He's
Yeah.
like, you realize people are not going to be able to dance to this. So I I asked my husband plays drums for me. I was like, "Can you like show me like a shuffle, like something that people can dance to?" And then one of my songs I wrote, "Cowboy Romeo," is set to like a shuffle. That way, I can go out and play dance hall and people can dance to that song. So I'm trying to like kind of write stuff towards that so people can come out and have fun, grab their partner,
Hmm.
dance. Not just whatever like sounds or feels good to me that people can't quite experience the way I want them to at the venues I want them to experience it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I do have a little funny side story. So earlier today, when I was just kind of shuffling around the house, um, I was had your Spotify open and I was just kind of letting it randomly play through your playlist.
There's
And
some random stuff on there.
you know, I think you'll find yeah, I think you'll find a little humor in this one. And your Christmas song, Rhinestone Christmas, popped on, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, it's too freaking early for Christmas music. Why is there Christmas music playing right now? And then I realized that it's like mid-October, and I'm like, it's really not that far off. So, like, I mean, whatever. We'll let it ride for now. And then I think right after it, you released another one before that too, right?
Another Christmas song?
Yeah, or
Yeah,
you
I
did
did
like,
some covers. Santa
yeah,
Baby, All I Want for Christmas Is You.
okay.
Mhm.
Because I think one of those popped on right after it. And I was like, okay, now you're taking this one too literally. So,
Oh my gosh.
um, but so where you obviously you just released a song, a new song last week, but where are you kind of at creatively right now? What do you got cooking? What are you working on? You know?
Yeah, so I am recording all the other songs that kind of go as part of that same project. So
Hmm.
I went into the studio and did all the tracks for Cowboy Romeo, My Horses, and Heartbroken Inn, which I've teased them on my Instagram and all my channels. But like I've just teased demos of them. So I went in and cut like the real tracks with like the full band in the studio. I record over at Farmland Studios. And then we're gonna go in and do the vocals in a couple months. But I like to have my vocal coach with me when I'm doing, vocals. And she's on tour right now with Post Malone doing
Oh
background
well,
vocals. So I'm really happy for her. I really want to get going on these vocals, but obviously she's doing rock star things. So we're gonna wait till she's back, and then we'll get back in and start cutting those. And then do all the mixing, mastering. So in the new year, I should be, releasing
mm,
those songs, and hopefully, like I said, making that a project. But yeah, I'm really excited about those. And then I'm surprised dropping a pop song I wrote during 2020. So
mm,
it's going to be a little like off from the sound I've been going for, because I wrote it. I wanted it to be like for a soundtrack if they ever brought back Twilight, which
mm,
they're doing a reboot, like a little animated TV show, so that's pretty
mm.
cool. Um, so I wrote it kind of with that in mind. So it's very cinematic. It's called After
Nice.
Twilight. But somebody posted a reel with it because I follow these Twilight fan accounts. I love Twilight. And I had messaged this one fan account of it's like called Twilight TV series or something like that.
Mm,
And I messaged them and I was like, I have this song. I want it on the TV show. No idea how. Well, they put it on their reel, and this reel
hmm.
is at 80,000 views right now. So
Oh
I
well,
was like, I guess I should release this song because there are other Twilight fans out there just like me that'll just appreciate this, even if it
yeah,
has nothing to do with what I'm doing as an artist, as a pop
right,
artist, right? So that's coming out on October 18th, and
nice,
you can listen to it and imagine that it's part of the new Twilight soundtrack.
right. That's awesome. Have you looked into like sync placement and stuff like that and tried to figure out that world?
I am trying to get into that world. I have a couple friends that are doing sync music stuff, so I'm talking to them about how can I, get things placed for sync. So if you have any tips, I am open to them.
I don't. Sorry. I don't, but I know a few people that do it, and they like once in a while I'll see on Instagram or something. They're like, "Hey, did you watch the new episode of this?
Yeah,
Did you recognize anything?" And it's like,
it's amazing.
yeah, I was sitting there once or with my dad. He kept talking about this movie that I had to go watch,
Mhm.
and I went and visited him in July because he lives in South Florida, but I went and visited him, and he turns on this movie, and he's like, "Here, you got to watch this movie. It's about Nashville and a musician." And I'm like, "Okay,
You're like, I'm in.
yeah, I'm in." Um, and then I'm sitting there watching it, and all of a sudden a song kicks up, and I'm like, wait a minute, I know this artist. How do I know this art? Like I recognized the voice, and it was somebody that I had just had on the podcast like a week prior.
Wow.
And then to make it even funnier, the I was watching it and I started recognizing the main actor or like one of the main actors. I had him on the podcast like 6 months prior, and because he was talking about a movie that he was in, and my dad kept calling the movie the wrong thing. And so I didn't put two and two together because like my dad will just be like, the name of the movie was called Neon Highway. It's on Netflix. And my dad kept calling it Rainbow Road.
That's completely different.
Right. And I'm like, Rainbow, what is this? A Mario Kart movie? Like, throw back to my Mario Kart peeps. But, you know, and so he turns it on and I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is a really weird movie. But, and then then he like paused it and the actual title popped up and I was like, son of a gun. Okay. Now I get it. So,
That's amazing. I love
yeah.
that.
Yeah. So you're obviously going to have a busy rest of the year, assuming that your singing coach gets off tour here at some point.
Yes, yes. I think November is when she'll be back and we'll get in the studio and be working on those vocals. So hopefully my allergies that we were talking about hold off.
Fair.
'Cause typically around end of November, early December, I get the lingering cough. So let's just send good vibes that that will stay away.
Right. 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 Usually, right about now is when I get COVID, which is not what I like to get, and it's like
Wow.
uh, as long as it's not right around Christmas again this year, because that happened last year. I tested positive Christmas Eve, and
Oh,
I
really?
had to go home, and I was
That's
just
not a
like,
Christmas tradition you want to start. So,
no, not at all. And I was at my grandma, and my grandma's 90 years old.
oh,
And it's like my grandma was trying to like get me to stay and give me a hug. And I'm like, Grandma, do not touch me. You've
oh,
smoked a pack of cigarettes every day for the last 70
oh no.
years. If you catch what I got, you will die. Like,
Yeah,
stay
yeah.
away from me.
Stay away.
Um, but yeah, that's not a Christmas tradition I want to start. Um, Outside of music though, what do you like to get into?
Oh gosh, that I don't get that question often. I'm really big on like crafting stuff.
Mm,
I kind of got into this because I wanted to wear like cool sparkly stuff on stage.
hmm.
But I started sewing rhinestone fringe onto things like jackets, vests,
Nice.
shirts, t-shirts, things like that. And then I got tired of sewing because my hands would cramp up, and so I just started gluing it on there.
Fair.
But I love doing that, like crafting things, or I'll sometimes have a craft night with my girlfriends and we'll just, paint thank you
Mm,
cards or just random stuff like that.
right.
So I love doing that. I love, working out, hiking, kind of just staying active. I have a pet bird named
Oh, wow.
Thor. He's a little bitty thing.
Nice.
So I hang out with him a lot. He likes to cuddle in my hair right here. Um, and yeah, so that's just kind of the stuff I do on my downtime. But also, I spend a lot of my downtime just writing songs. So,
Hmm. Fair. I'm kind of surprised. Like crafting for whatever reason is a common answer I've been getting
oh,
recently,
really?
and it's like if I was a business manager, I would just tell everyone like, all right, go to like a vintage store and buy like vintage music t-shirts and then just craft them. Like do something to make them special or cut
Yeah.
them, like whatever it is and then sell them at your shows.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Like, so something I did at one of my shows over the summer, I wanted to do an outfit change, which I've never done that on stage. And I
Hmm.
was like, why am I waiting? Why am I not just doing this? So I had this like denim jumpsuit thing, like dress
Hmm.
romper thing, and I had glued crystal trim all over it. So that looked
Hmm.
really cool. But then I also got this shirt that said "Hold your horses," so I could,
Hmm.
wear it while singing my horses. And I put rhinestone fringe on the sleeves, on the hem, and I made it like a little t-shirt dress. So
Nice.
right before I sang that song, I ran off stage, threw the t-shirt on, ran back on. And everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, she changed outfits! What in the world?" And I don't know why I didn't do it sooner, but that was a fun, crafty moment.
Yeah. You brought the two worlds together.
Mhm.
So I do have to ask because you're sitting in front of a bunch of guitars. Is that
Oh,
like a collection thing or is that you, your husband, your
So like the two brown guitars are mine, and then the bass and the other guitar are his.
Hmm.
He plays a little bass, but mostly he drums. And I just realized this is another one of my craft projects. I forgot to
Oh,
mention, but this is the never-ending project because I've been gluing every crystal by hand, and it's not just like, one size of crystals. I have itty bitty tiny little ones in between all the bigger ones, so like every inch is filled in. And basically, I'm just worn out from doing it. So it's
fair,
just sitting there like that, and we'll see how long it
fair.
stays that way.
And then you'll at some point you'll come back and finish it. And
Yeah.
nice. That's really cool. I just brought it up because usually every once in a while somebody's got a really cool story about the guitars that they're sitting in front of. So that
Well, there you
checks.
are. I got
That's
this one. This is my Taylor. I got it during COVID because we're
nice.
all, sitting at home, and I was like, "Well, time to learn guitar. I have nothing better to do."
Right.
So that's
How
when I
was
learned
that?
all the basic chords.
How was that journey learning guitar after you'd been releasing music for 4 years at that point?
It's a journey that's still going, to be honest
Fair.
with you. I'm still very much a beginner. I don't like to play at my shows. I'll play on like one or two songs, but that's about
Mhm.
it. But I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep kind of slowly working at it. I will say it's been great for writing songs myself because before I was writing on piano and I felt like things would turn out very ballady. So I would have to, find a guitar player to write with to if I wanted to do anything more upbeat. But this has helped me write less ballady stuff on my own.
Fair. Fair, fair. It's been more of an instrument for you personally to kind of help the creative process.
Exactly, yeah.
Nice. That's really cool. Um, and then obviously we talked about all the releases. How often are you playing shows right now? Are you playing pretty consistently or?
Yeah, I'm playing a couple shows a month consistently. A lot of writers rounds. Over this summer, though, I did a lot of full band stuff because that's really been a goal of mine. Because I did a ton of full band back in Texas. So I didn't want to lose touch with that side of me because you have to put on a bigger persona to do full band, and I really love it. So I didn't want to get out of practice. So I did like Oyster Bake back in Texas.
Nice.
I did the Basement. I did, what was the other place I played? I think it was the Green Light Bar, did a full band thing there. But yeah, just trying to do a lot more full band stuff. One of the shows we even did the whole, in-ears with tracks and all that.
Yes.
That way we could have, that bigger sound. And of
Mm,
course, you have to be like perfect if you're doing that because
right.
you miss something and the track is off. It sounds terrible.
Right. Fair. Very fair.
Yeah, that was really fun. And then my husband triggers the tracks because he's drumming, right? So
Mhm.
he got one of those Roland pads this year, and that's been really fun to see like him learn that and all the cool things you can do with the Roland. And sometimes he'll just throw in a random little sound effect in there, so that's always fun.
Nice. 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 When are you coming back to Texas? Do you try and come back often or is it just kind of whenever there's something going on?
Kind of whenever there's something going on. I go back to visit family, but playing shows has just been a little harder because I kind of have to
Mhm.
pull the band together. I have a lot of friends back in Texas that I can kind of pull
Mhm.
together into a band. But it's just a little more challenging because it's hard to get people to travel over there. So you
Yeah.
have to just unite people remotely and then go rehearse with them the day before. But I do want to do more stuff in Texas. Like I want to play San Antonio more. I want to do
Mhm.
Dallas and Austin and Houston, all those more. So that's kind of something I'm working on is getting back there more often.
Nice. That's really cool. Since we're on a Texas kick, as I don't want to keep you too much longer, but I always enjoy talking to the Texas people because I feel like I'm an honorary Texan at this point. I've been here 5 years. Like I can't claim
It's
I'm a
all right. You're a
Texan.
Texan now.
I well, I had accident I unintentionally said that in front of somebody and they got super pissed at me.
Oh no.
They were like, "You're not from Texas. No, no, no,
Oh,
no,
come
no, no,
on.
no, no, no." So I was just like, "Okay, fine. I won't do that again." So I'm going to ask you a few questions that are pretty Texas centric.
Uh-oh. Let's see if I pass or fail.
No, it's a you always pass. There you go.
Okay,
That
okay. This is
we're
not Texas trivia time.
no, not Texas trivia time. Although that is a very good segment idea. I will put that in the back pocket though. Um, besides your family, what's one thing you miss about Texas?
Oh, what do I miss about Texas? I think it's like it's the people,
Hmm.
beyond just my family, obviously, but I have a lot of good friends back there that have always supported me, and they're just, very kind and friendly people back in Texas. So I definitely miss that. Although I've made a lot of friends here, but
Hmm.
like there's just people I miss back home. Um, what else? Oh, line dancing and two-stepping because I don't know why. You'd think in Nashville, people would be out on the floor dancing. That's actually very rare here. There are a couple places like Nashville Palace, Cahoots,
Hmm.
that they have, you'll see like people out there dancing. They'll have two-step lessons, line dance lessons, things like that. But I don't see that much here. So it's always fun to go back and see all the crazy, awesome dancing back in
Yeah,
Texas. So I definitely miss that. Like I miss the real, I don't know, country bar experience.
right. Fair, fair, fair. What's the most overrated part of Texas?
Overrated? What? I'm not gonna hate on my home state.
Here, I will give you the answer because I am not afraid to say it. It is Whataburger.
Whataburger. I love Whataburger. Whoa, whoa.
Whataburger is terribly overrated, but so is almost every fast food hamburger joint. So I will
We got a Whataburger here though, and
really
I love going there. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
see my issue with Whataburger is, and I'm not like some kind of burger connoisseur, whatever. Every time I go there, they never get my order right. It's always wrong.
true.
Last time I went there, they practically poured the drink in my lap
Oh no.
because I went to go like they handed it to me weird, and so I had to like come up from underneath. Except my thumb went through the bottom of the cup,
Oh no.
and so just like soda went everywhere. And I was like, okay,
Oh,
yeah.
that's
So it to be fair, it was a new Whataburger. It had just opened, but
yeah.
it's like, man, I don't I don't know,
The one we
but
have here, like it kind of took them a while to get in a groove. I noticed like
mhm,
it would take them a long time to deliver orders. If you went through the drive-through, just forget it. But even like
mhm,
going inside, you would be waiting forever. But I feel like they've picked up their speed, so maybe like
mhm,
now they're kind of more used to it and they're doing a lot better now.
yeah. I will say the one thing I've loved about Texas, I don't know, in San Antonio, did you have Bush's chicken?
I don't, I never saw it. I could be wrong. I
Yeah,
just,
because I know it's like a regional chicken spot, and it started here in Waco or somewhere around here. I just didn't. I don't know how far outside of in Texas it's gone. So
Mhm.
it's that's a really good chicken spot. So
I definitely miss the Tex-Mex food. I will
mm,
say like Papacitos, Alamo Cafe, like some, especially those ones in San Antonio. That was good. Growing up, we'd
yeah,
go to Papacitos and get fajitas with the
mm,
garlic butter and all that. It's just lots of childhood memories eating
nice.
Tex-Mex.
I I went to San Antonio before I moved to Waco because I thought I was going to take a job out there. This was like 2018, I want to say it was. Um 2018, 2019. And I they brought me in. I went and did the job interview and they're like, "Yeah, just take the night, hang out, do whatever you want to do,
Mhm.
get to know the place, all this fun stuff." And I was like, "Okay." And it was a Friday night, so I was like, "I want to go get fish because
Fish
that's that
in
like
San Antonio.
look, this was before I really understood what was going on. And I found this place. It was in the back of a Mexican restaurant that served fish. And they're like, "Are you here for, are you?" Because it was like Fajita Friday or so, I don't know. It had like one of those catchy marketing deals. And I was like, "No, I'm here for the fish." "Oh, okay." So yeah, just kind of like this funny little interaction. So it is what it is. That place isn't open anymore, by the way.
Oh, okay, okay. Because
So
the Mexican restaurant went out, I'm sure.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it did. But yeah, so that's the Texas trivia time. I don't know. I Whataburger's got a long way to go to bring back my faith. So although they're if I get anything other than their burgers, it's actually not too bad. So
Okay, see, there
yeah,
you go. There's some hope.
yeah. So I don't remember. Oh, patty melts. That's what I like. Their patty melts are
Ah,
good.
yeah, good patty melts.
Yeah. So um other than that, anything else kind of on the radar as far as big shows or just kind of doing your thing right now?
Just kind of doing my thing, just kind of, going through what everybody goes through in Nashville. Like I said, the ups and the downs, and the
Hmm.
some days wondering what am I doing,
Okay.
and then other days going, I'm doing exactly what I need to be doing. But yeah, no, nothing big to announce right now, other than all the music I'm releasing. But I will
Nice.
definitely keep you up. Um, yeah, so
Cool.
nothing crazy.
Awesome. Awesome. And then if anybody wants to check out your music, any of that fun stuff, where's the best place to find you?
So it is on all the platforms, of course, Spotify, iTunes, TikTok if you go there, just all the different streaming platforms. But then you can find me obviously on the social media platforms too. Definitely use my music in your reels and things like that, so you can kind of enjoy that and share it with other people. But yeah, I'm everywhere. You can always find me at Vanessa Lynn Bird. I made it consistent on all the channels, so it's super easy to find.
Nice. Awesome. Well, once again, really appreciate the time. It's been an absolute blast chatting with you. We'll have to get together again at some point, whether it be via Zoom in Nashville, here in Texas, somewhere,
Yeah, if
sit down and do
I'm
it
in
again.
Waco, I'll hit you up. I used to go back to Waco a lot because my parents were living near there. So I
Okay.
went to Magnolia a ton over the past couple years. Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, I'll let you know if I come back through the area.
Nice. Magnolia has done a lot of good things for it shot up property prices, but besides that,
Yeah.
it's done a lot of good for the area. So, but once again, thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you for joining us, and we will catch you all later.